Productivity and time management is something that is very less talked about. But productivity is very important if you want to be successful, and there's no denying about it. Again, productivity is not about working harder or adding more tasks to your to do list. Absolutely not. It's more than that. Productivity is more about prioritization and focus. Basically, having control of your own time. We live in a world where distraction is everywhere around us, be it social media notifications, Slack messages, or anything else. As marketers and bloggers, we have hundreds of tasks that we need to do every day. And some might be small, some might be big, but it's very important for us to stay focused and ensure all these tasks are being done, because obviously they are interdependent and that might hurt your overall plan and objective. But how do you focus and complete your task on time? Honestly, there's no magic formula to this. Everybody has their own techniques, and it's about understanding what works for you and what doesn't. But obviously there are some basic principles that everybody should follow, and that's what I'll be talking about in this video. I'll be sharing whatever I've learned in the past 6-7 years as a blogger and a marketer, and I'm sure that this will help you. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 1, creating a to-do list. Now, this might seem very obvious to you, right? And I mean, everybody talks about creating a to-do list. But hear me out. It's not about which software you use, which platform you use, whether you use a marker and a whiteboard, or do you have post-it notes on your table. It's more about understanding which tasks go to your to-do list, and whether you have time for it or not. It's very important that you understand which tasks you are going to accomplish and whether it's achievable or not, right? Just adding some tasks won't help. Prioritization is very key. I personally use Todoist. I love the Todoist app, and it syncs well from my browser, mobile application to my Apple Watch, as well as it also has a neat reminder feature. This feature you'll get only if you're a paid version, but the free version is equally good. But I've seen people use normal diaries, post-it notes, and more. I mean, it doesn't really depend which application you use, but use whatever works best for you, whether it's analog or digital. Other good Todoist apps can be TickTick. You can also use Notion. You can also use Notes on Apple. On the topic of prioritization and creating a to-do list, I want to share a technique. The technique is called Eat the Frog. And don't worry, I'm not telling you to eat a frog or something. Basically, the frog is one thing that you really want to accomplish on that day. And eat the frog basically means you complete that task first. Otherwise, you'll just procrastinate the complete day, and maybe in the evening or something, you'll say, oh, I had to complete that task. So it's very important to follow this technique. It's very useful. So let's say if my frog or that task is, let's say, publishing a blog, or let's say completing an article. So basically what I'll do is I'll focus on completing that article. So what will happen is once you complete this task, there's a sense of fulfillment as well, and then you can focus on your smaller tasks. So this is a very effective technique, and try to use it and see if it works for you. The second thing I want to talk about is finding focus times and deep work. Now, what I have seen is whenever you're very distracted, let's say the task will take 15 minutes, but it can end up taking maybe multiple hours. I mean, if you're like me, you must have experienced days where you have worked, but at the end of the day, you're just thinking, hey, what I have done actually? You basically haven't completed any task, or just procrastinating, or you have just done work, but again, that's not, it's incomplete or something. So I think it's very important to find your focus times. Me as a writer, I find the early part of the morning very useful. I have less distractions and I could write. So even a 2-hour or 2.5 hours of writing time really gives me a good start to the day. Similarly, I've also found that writing in the night sometime, let's say 12 to 2, can also be productive. Again, this is not recommended. You should, but it's all about finding that sweet spot and whatever works for you, right? I'd say ki finding focus times is very important. Now, with remote working, I know it can be very overwhelming. You might have a lot of tasks apart from work. But what I have found useful is maybe you can have those calendar booked, basically those time slots booked, where you can focus and create tasks. Basically block a certain period of your calendar as focus times, and just request your teammates ki, hey, this is where I will focus, and request your colleagues to not book at that time. This is a very effective technique and might work for you. Many companies have also introduced no meetings Thursdays or Wednesdays, where basically you're not allowed to book meetings, and that complete day is for you to focus and churn out your work. I mean, anything works, but it's very important to stay focused. Usually what I do is I have I run a Pomodoro timer, maybe for 15 minutes, 1.5 hours, and basically shut down all my devices, maybe put a Bluetooth earphones on and just listen to some calm music and then work. I think it's very effective, and I've personally felt focus times to work very well for me in accomplished tasks, and I am sure that if you also allocate some time to do deep work, I think it will be really helpful. Coming to another productivity hack, you could say, is breaking down your tasks. Now, whenever I have larger tasks in hand, say you want to create a video, right? Now, video is not one step process. You have multiple things to it. You need to first figure out what you want the video to be about, then you'll probably do some research, then you'll probably write a script, and then is where you shoot the video, and then there is editing, there's final processing, there's uploading. So I mean, you see there are a lot of tasks involved in this small process. I mean, to the end user, they only see the video, but there's so many steps attached to this. So it's very important that you figure out these steps, you figure out a way, you figure out a plan where you have jotted down all the tasks you have to do. And using this, what you can do is, at the outset it might look very intimidating, ki, hey, I have to create this video, there's so much work, but when you break it down, it becomes really easier. Again, this is no rocket science, but I think it's very important. Whatever larger tasks you have in hand, you try to break it down and probably put deadlines to it. This will greatly help. This also prevents people from procrastinating and just thinking about, hey, I have to do this video and I'm going to do it, and all those thoughts in your mind. So breaking down a task is very important. In addition to this, what I've found very useful and something that works for me is getting a head start. So for tasks that look very daunting, just starting it out, just taking the first step can be very can be very rewarding, where you end up doing the task, because I think once the first step is very important, whether it be any task. So let's say if I'm writing a blog, it can be creating an outline or writing the intro. I think when you are into that groove, you'll eventually finish up the whole task. So I think it's very important that you start a task, even if it's daunting, because the first step you take, eventually everything comes to its own path, and then you eventually complete the task. Coming to another tip, it's planning. So as a content marketer, as a blogger, it's very important that you plan your month, week, or quarter, and have everything jotted down. I think planning is how large businesses run, and it's very crucial. So whether you're running a small blog or you're heading like a 200 member marketing team or anything, I think planning really helps, and it's very important that you plan everything around. This will help you in multiple ways. First, being focused, and ensuring that you have everything down, right? You're not thinking, oh, what should I do next? There won't be any thoughts like that. You already know, hey, this is something I want to achieve next. So I think planning is very important. So that's mostly it. That's mostly what I had to share. I'm not sharing various techniques. A few resources that you should follow is the Todoist blog. I think they have some great resources around productivity. Second is Ali Abdal's channel. He has some great videos on productivity and how you can build habits and everything. Another book you should be reading is this book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. I think it's a phenomenal book. Very recommended. I am reading it. I've started reading it. I haven't completed it, but I think it's a great book. You'll find other books as well. I'll leave links to a few books down in the comment section. So yeah, that's mostly it. That's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you were able to learn something interesting. And yes, if you like the video, feel free to share it with your friends, family, colleagues, and do subscribe. I post videos around marketing and blogging every week on this channel. So if you like my content, please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, bye bye.